Previously on, well, Jasmine's real life, actually. And I guess it's not really previously because you've never seen it before. Look, almost 10 years ago, I was watching this video and we're doing a nice little flashback thing, okay? Just roll with it.
You know, it may be a cash cow for Nickelodeon, but that doesn't mean SpongeBob is quality entertainment.
I think you're missing the deeper meaning here. This is one of the smartest family films of the past decade.
What deeper meaning can there be? It's the story of two heroes traversing a literal underworld full of fantastical creatures trying to find their way home. My God.
Finish chasing that rabbit, sir.
A Cyclops. A siren in the form of an anglerfish. A squandered bag of magical wind. SpongeBob is the Odyssey.
Welcome to the dark side of the moon, my friend.
Okay, I need to pause for a second to process that. Wow. I mean, I guess so. Sure. Why not? Why not? I'm sure this will have no ramifications on my life whatsoever.
9 years, 7 months later. Better known as last week.
Wait, did we even give you an accent pack?
No, but I've heard host Sam do it before. It wasn't that hard to approximate.
Huh. I mean, yeah, I suppose they don't even have a language, just the stupid accent. Anyway, on with the flash forward. All right, Nolan's The Odyssey is going to be out any minute, so you better get going with that SEO chasing. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we do have the SpongeBob Squarepants movie under The Odyssey on our master list. You know, it would be pretty funny to put that on the poll. I mean, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is definitely going to win. What's the harm?
1 week later. Better known as now.
Wait, what win the tiebreaker?
I never thought I'd see it with my own eye. Tickets to the SpongeBob movie!
Tell me, O Muse, of that ingenious hero who traveled far and wide after he had sacked the famous town of Troy.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob Squarepants. Absorbent and yellow and porous as sea. SpongeBob Squarepants. If nautical nonsense be something you wish. SpongeBob Squarepants. And drop on the deck and flop like a fish. SpongeBob Squarepants. SpongeBob Squarepants. SpongeBob Squarepants. SpongeBob Squarepants.
Welcome to An Each Retelling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. I am your host, Jasmine Garcia, and joining me today are...
Hey, it's Alex back again, and are you ready, guys?
Aye, Captain.
I can't hear you.
Aye, Captain.
Oh.
We are not singing the song, I'm sorry. Aww.
Whatever. I never thought I'd see it with my own eyes. The SpongeBob Squarepants movie on An Each Retelling! Also, I'm Rhaps.
Yes.
DGil off the port bow. DGil off the port bow. That's me. I'm DGil.
I'm Jen Seggio, and all bubble-glowing babies will be beaten senseless by every able-bodied patron in this podcast.
Podcast.
How did I get here? And today, yeah, kind of what Rhaps said. I didn't think I'd be seeing the day. We are, in fact, talking about the SpongeBob Squarepants movie because Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is coming out this week, and this is what the server voted for.
Because we're all goofy goobers that way.
We're all goofy goobers, yeah.
Yeah, we are complete chaos gremlins in this server.
And I'm proud to be friends with most of them.
Aw.
Greetings, I am IER60, Star Wars Retelling Connections. Point of intersection found. This is a degree 3. Clancy Brown and D. Bradley Baker had voice roles in multiple Star Wars projects. For additional degrees and uncredited amendments, check out ineachretelling.tumblr.com/sibling blogs.
And yes, I know what you're thinking, dear audience. This is an Odyssey adaptation, and yeah, I was surprised too. When I first heard about it, it was roughly 10 years ago on Il Neige's What We Had to Watch episode on this movie.
Yeah, I absolutely love that video that him and Charlie did. And it's actually kind of responsible for like one of my all-time favorite like life affirmations in general. Just
The show already establishes that it's okay to let your freak flag fly, but the movie imparts possibly the strongest message of all. You are not defined by your labels, and you are no less capable because of them.
Just like, if I could hug those two for just putting that sentence in my brain,
Oh, that's really sweet, actually.
The part of that review that will always stick with me is just
What I'm trying to say is, you're just a kid.
And life is a nightmare.
If I don't get my song, you don't get yours.
That does indeed live in my head rent-free. But, yeah. And I really did think that maybe it was just a coincidence, but there is one particular aspect of this that kind of stops it from being a coincidence, and we will get into that. But before we do, what is everyone's connection to the Odyssey?
So my connection with the Odyssey is that, like most people, I took a mythology class in high school, and I read it. And, for the longest time, I was just like, what is there to enjoy about it? I mean, it's just a guy who gets constantly sidetracked on his 20-year journey home. Like, it should be easy to just not get into all this stupid shit, right? But, as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate Greek mythology a lot more. And, with the advent of Epic the Musical, which is basically everywhere now, it's like, yeah, the Odyssey's coming back in such a major way. And now with Christopher Nolan's Odyssey on our horizon, it's like, yeah, I'll go see it just to know, like, how the hell can you top Oppenheimer?
That's a fair question, but apparently, like, we've been seeing early reviews that apparently this is something that might have topped it. I'm personally very excited because I, too, really loved Oppenheimer.
So I mostly know the Odyssey from pop cultural osmosis.
It is a hell of a drug.
Yeah. I think the closest thing I might have seen was the episode of The Simpsons where they're going over classic stories. There's a couple of them, but there's one where Homer is Odysseus, and there's a lot of great jokes in that one that I still think of now and then.
You used to be fun. Where's the Zeus who used to turn into a cow and pick up chicks?
It's very funny they didn't even try to make Homer.
Yeah, Homer's Odyssey. But yeah, I amazingly have not had the chance to really get into Epic. I haven't listened to any of the songs yet or seen any of the animatics. I do want to change that, but I think I'm kind of an outlier here. I'm sort of behind in that aspect. Though I am excited to see the movie. Seems very exciting.
Yeah, because that is also getting an animated adaptation, which feels so crazy for something that started as just a few song clips on TikTok.
I know, right?
It's nice to see a musical actually get an animated adaptation as opposed to trying to fit into live action. More musicals, traditional Broadway musicals, I mean, need to be animated.
Though I'll accept a live action adaptation with Muppets if they ask nice.
Oh, hell yeah.
And there are some that I would love to see a pro shot for. Cough, cough, Beetlejuice, cough, cough.
I will say this, the only musical I can accept in live action, if it's stylized, is Starlight Express.
Like, I'm not saying it can't be live action, but I feel like it really would have to be animated for it to be, like, as good as possible. Similarly with Cats. And we don't have time to get into Cats, so somebody.
Thank you.
Okay, I know you guys are probably going to grill me for this, but anyway, when I was younger and in one of my school classes, I thought I knew the Odyssey. I tried to make it easier on myself, but of course that backfired, and I read through the whole thing, which took a while, but I eventually did it, and that's about it on that part.
DGil, I believe you went into it a little bit during Sea of Monsters month, right?
I did, yeah, kind of just the cliff notes there to avoid repeating myself too much from Sea of Monsters month. Glad I'm not holding the torch anymore. Yeah, I never really read any of the Odyssey. Most I had heard of the Odyssey was from the old Wishbone episode on VHS. Shout out to all two of you who still remember Wishbone.
In this group, it is definitely more than two.
I'm one of them, so yeah, there's at least 3.
Yeah. Yeah, then Epic the Musical got its fangs in me, and I've been wanting to get in touch with more of the source material and, track down a good translation. I've actually gotten a recommendation from the server which one to go for, and I set a goal for myself to finish reading the Odyssey before the Epic the Musical adaptation comes out, so we'll see how well I can hold myself to that.
That's a good goal. Which translation was it? Was it the Emily Wilson one, or was it a different one?
No, yeah, it was the Emily Wilson one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, again, with this group. I have had that audiobook in my library for quite some time. I just haven't gotten around to it. I do kind of want to finish the Iliad, voiced by Audra McDonald, by the way.
Holy shit.
Right? Then we could go into the Odyssey, voiced by Claire Danes.
Ooh.
Right? Both Emily Wilson translations. She was the first woman to ever translate Homer's works, as far as I'm aware. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, as for me, I've mentioned before, my very first introduction to the Odyssey was the Arthur episode. I don't know how many of you guys remember that one.
I don't think I do.
Me neither.
I didn't know about the Arthur episode either, or at least I don't remember it.
Can you give me like a quick recap?
It was a pretty funny conceit that, again, lived rent-free in my head for some reason. Basically, Arthur is talking about these veggie morph books. Gee, I wonder what they're parodying there. And he was on one of his whole things about disparaging the fact that DW can't read yet. Like, listen, there's a lot of issues with DW, but being 4 and not being able to read is not one of them. And basically, Grandma Thora told her the story of the Odyssey, and then she told it to him and Buster to kind of prove that, no, I can in fact tell a good story. And even in the end, when Arthur was trying to say it wasn't a good story, she went, haha, you clearly don't know a good one, because this has been a beloved story for thousands of years, literally. I guess because of the punchline, that's why it's lived rent-free in my head.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, I always meant to give the Odyssey a read because I'm a big Greek mythology person. Just haven't gone around to it. Like I said, got the Emily Wilson audiobook. We'll probably get to that at some point. Quite intrigued by Nolan's upcoming film. The discourse surrounding that, we will get to that when we do that episode, I'm sure. And yeah, Epic the musical, like, it took me a while to really warm up to what I was hearing, because I actually don't like the shorter clips really do the whole thing justice, but having now listened to a lot more of it, I really have grown to really appreciate it. And plus, I'm a total sap. As soon as Would You Fall in Love with Me Again dropped, I was hooked.
That was actually my introduction to it, but like my favorite song thus far is Ruthlessness is Mercy Upon Ourselves.
Admittedly, I'm more of a Thunderbringer kind of guy because I'm a baritone and that's the only one I can sing. Jay, I love you, but please have mercy on us poor deep voice people.
I mean, musical theater in general has not been very nice to the baritones recently.
I know!
Everyone's a mezzo-soprano or a tenor, practically.
Where are the altos?
I myself am a baritone, so I can sympathize on that front.
Yes.
Hey, you're a gutless flip-flopper like me.
But yeah, no, more vocal variety in musical theater, please. Not every leading lady has to sound like Elphaba. But anyway, yeah. SpongeBob. That's probably going to have a lot more fond memories from all of you guys. So what is everyone's connection to SpongeBob SquarePants?
I was virtually kind of a SpongeBob fan from almost day one. I remember the hype and the lead up to, when the first episode premiered. And yeah, I got hooked on the silliness of it. I saw the movie in theaters, I think, opening weekend, if not maybe around that time. I might have been I was around maybe 13 or 14 when the movie was coming out, like going into high school, and I didn't care. I loved it. I would record episodes off the TV on tapes so I could play it at the after school program I volunteered at, and the kids loved it. They especially loved it when they learned I could draw SpongeBob, and I would draw it for them. And yeah, to me, SpongeBob, the first 3 seasons are comparable to the golden era of The Simpsons, where the humor and the characters and the lines are just so iconic and well written. Me and my friends still quote and laugh along to them. The whenever we get the chance to. I love it.
Speaking of the first 3 seasons, I did a little experiment for myself this time. I challenged myself to watch all 3 original seasons before watching the movie yesterday. I succeeded in that. So yeah, that's pretty much the experiment in a nutshell. To see how it compares as an ending to the show. Anyway, to my connection. I grew up with SpongeBob as well, just a little later, like when the later seasons were going on. Yeah, not exactly the golden age, let me say. But I eventually went back and watched the golden age. Good show. And if I can get through all 3 seasons of TV, DGil, you can get through a book of the Odyssey.
Fair assessment.
So my connection with SpongeBob is essentially, like, I grew up with it, right? It was basically one of those shows that, like, I have very fond memories of watching, like, way back when I was a kid. I think one of my earliest memories was watching the previews on the Where's Gary DVD and just having that video game commercial for Lights, Camera, Pants just seared into my mind because I would try to reenact Plankton going, Shia Kazing, and clap, and my hands would sting, and it was just such a fond memory that I have. But yeah, I grew up with the classics, but like, I also kind of have a fondness for the 4th season because that was when I was very little, when I was getting into it. And, for a brief period, I was like, the first 4 seasons are good. Like, I'll stand by that, because there are some definitely good episodes in there, but like, yeah, I can't argue with Jen on that.
All right, so my experience with SpongeBob. Welcome to DGil's first canon event. I can kind of pinpoint my evolution as a film nerd down to 3 specific movies, and the first one was the SpongeBob movie. I grew up not really able to watch SpongeBob as it was coming out because we lived out in the country and didn't have cable at the time. But a former boyfriend of my sister's, real piece of work, glad he's gone, but he gave me the first and the 3rd season of SpongeBob for my birthday one year. And I was able to finally, watch the show that I'd only seen a smattering of episodes of whenever I'd go to a friend's place. And I just completely took to the world of SpongeBob, and I, loved the characters and loved each of the funny episodes because, I was a little kid. And then one day when we were at the movie theater, in the background of the lobby getting ready to watch something, all of a sudden I see a trailer playing and it's a bunch of people on a submarine. And I'm just like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird. What's going on here?
Sonar 40, is that sound still out there?
Got 9. What do you got?
What's going on, Jonesy?
I can hear.
What the hell is it?
Splashes.
3,000 yards closing.
And then all of a sudden, James Earl Jones looks at the camera and just goes, Mother of God. And then all of a sudden, it smash cuts to SpongeBob.
Don't you just love playing submarine, Gary? Prepare to dive!
That's when the hype started to set into my head of just like, wait, they're making a SpongeBob movie? What?
Yeah.
Just fundamentally altering little 7-year-old, 8-year-old, however old I was at the time, kid me's energy. And I would just follow breathlessly, just, all right, when's it coming out? I got a big SpongeBob themed calendar from my theater, and I would like mark down the days and just cross each of them out until it came out in November. And then lo and behold, a couple of weeks after that, my sister and her then boyfriend went to take me to go see it. And oh, pure magic. One of the formative events that led me to becoming the happy and very overly opinionated movie nerd that hides behind a helmet today.
So basically me with Ghostbusters Afterlife, but with you with SpongeBob.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, with me, it's like, whenever I hear people telling me that SpongeBob was their first movie that they saw in a theater, I'm like, God, I wish that was the case with me, because my first movie I ever saw in a theater was Disney's Chicken Little.
Ooh. You poor soul.
Ouch. My family has a fondness for that one, and even I'm like, ouch.
Same here. It wasn't the first one I ever saw in the theater, but it was just like the first, like, the hype cycle I ever experienced as a movie fan.
Well, I am the odd one out here, gang. Not only did I really not watch SpongeBob like that growing up, it was more or less banned in my household. My mother was not having it. She had a very low tolerance for annoying cartoon characters.
You poor soul.
Wow.
It's okay. We also didn't really watch The Simpsons in my house, and we definitely did not watch SpongeBob. She had no tolerance for that little guy. And, like, I saw bits and pieces in, like, other people's houses, and obviously I've seen most of the memes that have populated the internet since then. But yeah, SpongeBob was never really a huge part of my life. So I was a little shooketh that this won over the likes of Big Fish, or even more over Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Because to me, that one is really like the big Odyssey retelling that people seem to really love. But hey, here we are. We're going to be talking SpongeBob and how I took this movie as a total outsider. Woo! So this movie starts with a sea shanty version of the theme music sung by a bunch of pirates, which I will admit I do greatly prefer over the usual theme music.
It is very epic sounding, the big, almost like men's choir, and just so rollicking and fun. It really captures the mood, I think, of like what a lot of the, audience who grew up with this show must have felt going in to see the movie. We get the pirates storming the theater. It's all very, totally hyped up and very happy. And it's just a great way to kind of bring you into the movie and the kind of world that we're about to experience.
This entire opening fake out with the live action pirates, it's just such a great tone setter because it perfectly makes you think like, oh, I stepped into the wrong movie. Like, it's all these pirates on this boat, and there's this guy just rowing and being like, I got the treasure. And the first of many vocal stems for 5-year-old me, dinging off the port bow. And then just the captain's awestruck reaction when he reaches into the chest and pulls out the treasure, tickets to the SpongeBob movie, and all the pirates cheer, and it's just... God, it's so good.
So that's what they were after in Pulp Fiction. Tickets to the SpongeBob movie.
Though something tells me Patchy would be very good friends with those pirates.
I'm kind of surprised. Why wasn't it Patchy among the pirates? Why is it just kind of a generic pirate captain? I mean, they have a parrot there who talks like Potty the parrot, so kind of...
Well, I heard in like an earlier draft that was going to be the plan, but they must have just decided against it, or maybe Tom Kenny wanted too much money. Who knows?
I mean, in all fairness, I do like the captain in this movie. Like, he kind of looks like how I would envision Patchy looking like if he were in, like, Pirates of the Caribbean, almost.
Patchy of the Caribbean.
Sure, why not? And we begin with basically a burger missing its cheese being treated almost like a bomb threat. That sure is something.
I have in my notes here, I wonder, is this a reflection of like our post 9/11 like values of heroism and threats and how we deal with it? Because
I mean, yeah, probably. Man, if Ellie were here, we would go on that for 5 minutes. It'd be fascinating.
If Randall from Channel KRT was here, they would find a way to connect this all back to 9/11.
Jeez.
Let's not.
I mean, your average CG movie takes about 4 years to make, so... But this one's hand-drawn, so I'd say about 3, maybe 2 years, so... Yeah, it was probably fresh on their mind. It came out in 2004.
Spider-Man still had the whole American flag sequence back in 2007's Spider-Man 3, so it permeates the culture even to this day. What are we talking about? Every Christmas we still get Kermit did 9/11 jokes, and I am frankly sick of it, but alas, this is the world we live in.
The animation was mostly done in Korea, and you know how, animation can be done rather quickly under very cheap, poor conditions, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just turned out that quickly. Though I will say the animation for the movie itself is actually very good. If you compare it to something like the Rugrats movie, where it kind of stays faithful to the style, but it is very desaturated, like all the colors are very bled out, there's a lot of contrast and stuff. I've seen the making of features enough to know they were very faithful to the storyboards, to the style. You can definitely tell when a different artist was drawing SpongeBob and the characters, or when they wanted to exaggerate it to get to that right kind of emotion like they would in the episode. And they kept the colors almost exactly very close to how it is in the show, very colorful and saturated.
Yeah, even as someone who's not a fan, I can appreciate the animation. It's not really my style, but no, for what it is, it's very good SpongeBob animation.
In complete fairness, though, if they didn't keep the animation accurate, people probably would have rated.
Yeah, this whole dream sequence opening is just, it's appropriately over the top. Like, the part that always sticks with me the most, aside from SpongeBob pulling in a freaking limo and he has like these little cowboy boots with a snake hissing on it. The part that always sticks with me is when he goes into the restaurant and the guy in there is just like, he's clearly stressed out. And then as SpongeBob's getting ready to put it on, and he's just like, come on, stay with me. Let's hear about that family you've got. Like, he's just trying to keep him calm.
It is a very common cop show trope for that, too. Like, again, it's like one of those examples of coming up with a joke that appeals to the parents who inevitably had to come in with the kids.
I think my favorite part is how it wakes up, where everyone's got SpongeBob on their shoulders. They go, three cheers for the Badgers, hip hip. And then the foghorn alarm, comes in, and everyone has the big O mouth.
Hip hip.
Yeah, I've had dreams like that.
I mean, in fairness, who hasn't?
Yeah, no fun having a perfectly normal dream, but then getting jump scared by the end. But SpongeBob, as usual, doesn't let that get him down, because he is certain that he's about to get promoted to manager for the new location of the Krabby Patty.
Yeah, and in this scene, he also mentions that he has a wall of 374 consecutive Employee of the Month awards. And I'm over here thinking, at that point, he should just own the damn restaurant if he's been working there for that long.
Agreed.
I'm also guessing, and I know I'm an idiot for trying to apply logical consistency to SpongeBob. This is after the Employee of the Month episode where he and Squidward destroyed the Krusty Krab in an effort to win Employee of the Month.
Well, that sounds counterproductive.
Whenever I saw that, I just like, oh, so you kind of answered who won Employee of the Month that month, huh?
In complete fairness, though, let's be real here. Squidward was never going to win Employee of the Month, considering a lot of the things he's done.
Yeah.
As we all know,
remember, no
one wants
to be a
Squidward.
But apparently SpongeBob does by the end, because as it turns out, no, he is not the one who got the manager job.
The fake out where they do that is perfect. Where he just keeps building it up. He's a loyal employee, honest and hardworking.
The obvious choice for the job.
A name you all know. It starts with an S.
That's me.
Please welcome our new manager, Squidward Tentacles.
Yes! Yeah! Oh, better luck next time, buddy.
It's fun. Like, yes, that's me. He's just getting more and more excited in his seat, ready to jump up like a jack-in-the-box.
Like, Mr. Krabs, you walked into this awkwardness. I'm sorry.
In complete fairness, though, SpongeBob's probably the better of us, because if that had been me, yeah, Mr. Krabs would have ended up nicely boiled and with, butter and lemon.
See, I feel like even if Mr. Krabs did walk himself into that one, SpongeBob kind of really set himself up with these unrealistic expectations. And like Mr. Krabs even points out later in the scene, I gave the job to Squidward because being manager is a big responsibility. And let's face it, he's more mature than you. And even though this does lead to another favorite line in the movie, when they're all trying to think of ways to describe SpongeBob, there's one cranky grandma Lee. He just goes up and is like,
a knucklehead McSpazzatron!
Like, I used to think that was a common insult back in the day. So it's probably not applicable now because it has the spaz in it.
Yeah, I have in my notes. Is it okay to say that whole thing now? A knucklehead McGoofatron now. I don't know.
Knucklehead McSnarkatron.
Look, 2004 was a different time.
Knucklehead McGiggletron.
Though I will say this, like, I'm ready depression hits a little too close to home for me because, like, there have just been days where I'm like, yeah, not really feeling it. But then again, real life does imitate art because you have Patrick literally streaking across the sky in a frickin' hang glider with a SpongeBob flag stuck between his cheeks. And literally, this past 4th of July, some skydiver crashed into a Budweiser tent at some fair And, like, everyone online was just making comparisons, like, oh my god.
I was gonna bring that up. That clip went viral. He's got the huge American flag between his legs, and you just see crashing and burning into the tent. And people were making, the connection to that. They were memeing on that, putting, hooray for SpongeBob!
I'm surprised Paramount themselves didn't take advantage of it.
The number of times while watching this I had to go, Patrick, this is sexual harassment, they don't have to take it, is a little unnerving.
Didn't even know Patrick did Kegel exercises.
God damn it, DGil.
In complete fairness, Patrick has never been the smartest as one of the show.
I think in order to properly explain the rest of the movie, we need to bring up the villain for the evening.
This is Plankton at his most evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wants the Krabby Patty recipe because he has it in his head it's going to help him take over the world, which, I mean, I guess look at the fast food companies, he might not be entirely wrong. Though Plankton, what you really should have done is start by selling textbooks, and then you start selling other things, and it's all at prices so marked down that no competitor could possibly beat you. And then suddenly you're a billionaire and impacting elections. And then Bo Burnham writes a song about you, and oh god, I've gone cross-eyed and depressed.
In the second movie, we learned that the entirety of Bikini Bottom depends on the Krabby Patty. Like, it's an addiction that Mr. Krabs feeds upon, because when the recipe disappears and no one can make it anymore, the town devolves into this post-apocalyptic Mad Max-style world.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the apocalypse, Mr. Squidward. Hope you brought leather.
I mean, that's about average for the regular crowd at In-N-Out these days, but,
And that's why I think everyone so readily buys that Mr. Krabs gave him the formula willingly, because they're just so desperate for Krabby Patties, they will take any reason just to have more of it. Despite the obvious fact that, he stole it.
So basically, Squidward was right in that one episode in which he tried to stay away from it. He was trying to stop himself from getting addicted like the rest of the town.
Squidward, you can't eat all those patties at one time! Squidward!
What's gonna happen? Am I gonna blow up?
No, worse! It'll go right to your thighs!
My thighs?
And then you'll blow up!
I remember my first Krabby Patty. But yeah, Plankton's whole thing in this movie is that he stumbles across Plan Z, which is supposedly the end game to take over Bikini Bottom. And I love the little gag with how he acts as if it were a Playboy centerfold with, like, the sax riff. That always gets a crack out of me.
Also, he thought the alphabet ended in Y and needed his computer wife to tell him otherwise.
I've exhausted every evil plan in my filing cabinet. From A to Y.
A to Y?
Yeah, A to Y, the alphabet.
What about Z?
Z?
Z, the letter after Y.
W, X, Y, Z. Plan Z! Here it is! Just like you said!
Oh, boy.
Karen, the computer wife, is not paid enough. Listen, Iris from Companion needs to get a submarine and go rescue Karen, the computer wife.
I mean, she never agreed to the marriage, technically, so yeah.
Either did Iris, there you go.
Okay. But yeah, part of Plankton's plan involves stealing King Neptune's crown. And, I really want to focus all my praise on this movie towards Scarlett Johansson as Mindy, because she isn't just the princess. She's essential to the plot. She has a purpose, and like Jazz pointed out in the screening, I'm really glad they didn't try to do that whole trope where she has to marry some prince in order to achieve, being the queen and all.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much out and out said, no, she's gonna inherit that crown one day. And she's constantly pushing back on her father being a fucking tyrant.
Yeah, because fuck Jeffrey Tambor, man.
Yep, it's like they knew.
Indeed.
What did they know?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing the way they sort of portray Neptune in this, because he did appear, technically, in a SpongeBob episode before, Neptune's Spatula, but it was an entirely different design, and he was voiced by John O'Hurley. Apparently, they decided to change the way he looked and give him a new actor because, I don't know, they said they weren't happy with how he came out in the show, but here's the thing. They never revisit this version of Neptune in the movie again. It's always the John O'Hurley one whenever he comes back to SpongeBob. They even expand on his family, and Mindy doesn't appear once.
See, Jen, I'm not going to try and mansplain it, but, to my knowledge, there's kind of an agreement between Paramount and Nickelodeon after the movie came out, where there was just, this firewall where things from the movie couldn't intersect, which is why in the Clash of the Triton episode, even though they mention the ice cream, they don't call it by its full name. They instead just call it something like triple gooberry sunrise or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that unfortunately makes sense as stupid bureaucratic red tape.
God damn it.
I was gonna say, I do kind of like the design that they give Neptune and Mindy, though, this very rubber hose, very reminiscent of the 20s Fleischer era. Pretty cool. Mindy has a little bit of Betty.
It's all in the eyes. Yeah. Especially in the eyes with the way the oval of the pupil is, with that little chip taken out of it. I was just like, this feels very like classic cartoony. Yeah.
I will say it is kind of funny. We got a King Neptune. Like, it's clearly not supposed to be the Roman equivalent to Poseidon, but like it is funny to think of it that way in the context of this as an adaptation, because he's definitely more after Mr. Krabs than he is SpongeBob, but like SpongeBob obviously is the one who takes the journey. That's a little confusing from an adaptational standpoint.
So then we're taken to the Goofy Goober ice cream parlor, and I'm like, yeah, I would absolutely go there if this was a real place.
Me too.
I mean, technically it is now in Texas.
I'm not going to Texas. You can't force me.
No,
that's
please.
fair.
Nick already escaped. We don't need somebody going towards it.
Sorry, Sandy.
I'm just bringing the
Catch
facts.
us dead in Texas. Oh, sorry. Speaking of first nitpick, I really have. I know I just done a little thing with Neptune earlier, but not enough Sandy in this movie. She has two lines in this movie.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
I do know there was supposed to be a deleted scene, like in an earlier draft, where SpongeBob and Patrick come across her, like when they're at Shell City, but apparently it was cut because of a vomit joke.
That's where they drew the line?
Yeah, we literally saw SpongeBob and Patrick's bare ass in this movie, and they draw the line at a puke joke.
SpongeBob loses an arm in this movie!
It gets quickly reattached.
SpongeBob and Patrick die in this movie.
They got better.
I would absolutely eat a triple gooberberry sunriser. Like, that just looks like the absolute perfect ice cream to eat when I'm having a really shitty day.
Binging with Babish did a video on the triple gooberberry sunrise, and I want to make it myself one of these days.
Yeah, me too.
Babish is a treasure.
So yeah, SpongeBob and Patrick, they eat all this ice cream, and it eventually results in them getting a hangover. And it's like, it's so fucking funny to me.
It's hilarious. The ice cream is, I get like a way of getting around using alcohol, which unfortunately I remember back in the day when you could show characters actually getting drunk on alcohol in cartoons and animated movies. But I don't know, ice cream is, I'm not sure what moved animators to kind of use it as a substitute. Maybe it's because it's sweet and forbidden and kids would love it, but you can't eat too much of it, otherwise you don't feel good.
It does kind of further illustrate SpongeBob's childishness, where that's what he gets drunk off of.
Tom Kenny's like delivery on the line, Patrick, hey, what's up, buddy? It's like, God, I feel that.
The whole waiter thing is hysterical.
That poor server. I don't know what they're paying you, buddy, but it's not enough.
That poor guy.
Why do I always get the nuts?
Although you want to talk feeling something, like hearing Patrick's just deep snore underneath the table. I'm just like, oh yeah, buddy, I've been there.
Oh, are we sure that ice cream wasn't actually laced with any booze?
I mean,
well, it is a separate bar section.
Yeah, the
it's
nut
like the
bar.
nut bar. So maybe that's where they make the, the stuff for adults that is laced with liquor or something.
If that's what you want your headcanon to be, go for it.
And if you need any further connection to the public domain, like Popeye makes a cameo on the wall as one of the caricatures.
Going back to Fleischer, yeah.
This is true.
Yeah,
This was
crazy.
before Popeye was in the public domain, but he is there. But yep, that was before he reached the public domain. Because remember, dear listeners, this movie is old enough to drink real alcohol.
My hip. Anyone else hear dial-up modems in their head right now?
Oh.
Who are you people? Where's my pudding?
Who are you? Where's my soup?
Jesus Christ. Okay. But yeah, they wake up, SpongeBob's hungover and decides he is going to give Mr. Krabs a piece of his mind. But meanwhile, Plankton has decided that Plan Z is going to involve framing Mr. Krabs for the loss of King Neptune's crown, which is where I was saying how King Neptune is more after Mr. Krabs than our very spongy yellow Odysseus in this.
For clever as he was, he left one damning piece of evidence at the scene of the crime. And it doesn't even have his handwriting on it. Like, it's just a little piece of paper with some scrawled on it.
Listen, Neptune is a tyrant. He doesn't need to have actual evidence.
Yeah, but the following scene where Krabs just listens to this fabricated answering machine, this is exactly why I don't have answering machines in my house. Like, you can't be too certain.
Especially now in the era of AI. Ugh.
Yeah.
How much longer until that bubble bursts?
Plan Z. I love Plan Z.
But yeah, even though SpongeBob but of course as Neptune is grilling Mr. Krabs, a very hungover SpongeBob shows up to confront him. It goes about as well as you'd expect.
Well, I am 100% man, and this man has got something to say to you. Oh. There. I think I made my point.
Made your point, hurt your point, who's to say? He still doesn't want Mr. Krabs to get killed by King Neptune, so he offers to go seek out the crown, and Patrick kind of brings him down from 10 days to 6, because Patrick is even more of an idiot than SpongeBob.
I do love that Mindy actually plays a huge part in ensuring SpongeBob gets the chance to prove himself.
Oh, absolutely. In a lesser movie, she'd just be the love interest or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's proactive enough. She knows the stakes and knows the right thing to do, and she's always ready to stand up for her father on behalf of, his subjects.
And of course, I do like that she Daddy,
stop it! Can't you get through one day without executing someone?
That is a move.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And of course, since this is the SpongeBob movie, we can't go past it without discussing the infamous scene where we see Neptune's baldness.
On the count of 3, we all go bald. 1, 2, 3. Bald! Bald! Bald!
My eyes!
There you go. Yeah, that was crazy. I can't believe that's where the "my eyes" meme comes from. I saw many memes in their natural habitat in this movie.
One of my favorites is absolutely SpongeBob with the toothbrush and cleaning up his eyes at the beginning of the movie. Just the amount of times I've had to use that on social media. More than 0.
SpongeBob and Shrek are the 2 biggest meme in the internet history.
For better or worse. So now the stakes are set. Mr. Krabs is frozen, like literally frozen into an ice block.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs experienced a Song of Ice and Fire in the span of like 5 minutes, which is more than I could say for most of the Game of Thrones fan base.
Although not exclusively in that order.
And now SpongeBob and Patrick have 6 days to get the crown back because Patrick is a fucking idiot. And we get our first Odyssey connection, which is the wind bag.
Yeah, that's the one where I was like, okay, no, it's not just a coincidence. Because listen, many people include Cyclopses in their stuff without intending it to be an Odyssey thing. Many people include sirens, and it's not necessarily an Odyssey. But that bag of wind, yeah, you can't deny it. It was on their minds.
Like, even me, who didn't know anything about the Odyssey, just having a random bag of winds, I was just like, okay, that feels kind of weird to pull out of literal thin air.
Exactly. Like, even if you don't really know about the Odyssey, you've heard of a Cyclops, you've heard of a siren, you've heard of, like, a sea of monsters. But the bag of wind thing, that is pretty exclusively Homer.
I wouldn't past Steven Hillenburg to have done that. The reason why he made the SpongeBob movie was because he knew a road trip and a big adventure is the one thing he couldn't do in like a regular short form, format, which he usually preferred. So again, not very surprising he kind of relied on the Odyssey to help make this movie.
The Odyssey really is kind of the OG road trip movie, isn't it?
And how exactly are they going to get to Shell City? Why, by only driving the second greatest vehicle in cinematic history, the Paddy Wagon.
Oh yeah.
The Paddy Wagon proves that SpongeBob's bad driving is purely psychological, because put him in a boatmobile, he will crash that thing in an instant. But in the Paddy Wagon, he's totally fine with it. He's a great driver.
Amen. I love the Paddy Wagon so much. And yeah, not beating the allegations. I'm focusing on the transportation again.
Speaking of, that was put into Sonic Racing Cross Worlds as SpongeBob's vehicle, so...
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
As for what I consider to be the greatest vehicle in all of fiction, that distinction goes to the Bluesmobile from Blues Brothers.
See, I would go with the DeLorean, but I understand.
That's what I would have gone with too, but I totally get it. It's in the top 5.
I personally say Ecto-1, but there's my bias showing.
I'm a little bit more old school. I'm kind of like Mad Max's Interceptor, but the Bluesmobile, that is a very good one.
Runner-up, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
We love you. Sure. The story begins proper. SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to get to Shell City, and almost immediately the paddy wagon gets stolen because they're in a rough part of town with a couple of rednecks at the gas station.
They cross right over the county line and immediately get mugged.
Gentle fish, this is no way to run a business.
I had to time it exactly. Like, as soon as the back wheel of the paddy wagon rolled over the white line, it lasts exactly 12 seconds. Like, that is absolute commitment to the bit.
Perfect!
I actually remember keeping track of that on the old timer on the DVD player of like the time it started at that segment. Just literally on the DVD player as it was going. So
I should also mention that we did a script read for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie on the Channel KRT server. D&D was Plankton, Jen was Mindy, and me and DGil played the Redneck Brothers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
So because this was supposed to be the series finale, as Steven Hillenburg intended it to be, Plankton actually does manage to succeed in stealing the Krabby Patty formula.
If only temporarily. Do you want me to do a bit of my Plankton real quick?
I don't think...
Yes, your Plankton let it out. Great. Go, go, go.
All right, then. I will keep that formula. It was the last thing I do.
Oh, so you went very different. I like it, though.
Yeah, it kind of went for a Peter Lorre thing.
Yeah, Peter Lorre route. Very different, but very fun.
I thought it'd be funny, so figured why not.
And that is the beauty of theater. Anyway.
He succeeds and then goes even further. He's giving away all these bucket helmets, which seems like a kind of like a fun, dumb thing, but it turns out they trap themselves completely over people's heads and turn them into zombies.
All hail Plankton!
What's going on here?
All hail Plankton!
Seize him, slaves!
All hail Plankton!
Get out of here! Who can stop me now?
Not gonna lie, I could see some of the younger viewers being terrified of this sequence. Like, only like the Chucky Finsters of the audience, but still.
They should have known Plankton was up to something with those buckets.
Like, the harsh light when the bucket helmets turn the Bikini Bottomites into Plankton slaves is so damn striking. It's just this harsh yellow, and then you just see them, like, standing up monotonously, and they're all chanting like that. That is so effective.
They go after Squidward, too, who's the one person who's figured it all out. The line where he says,
No! You may have hoodwinked everyone else in this backwater town, but you can't fool me! I listen to public radio.
That's another line that definitely hits as an adult, as do a lot of things revolving around Squidward.
Yeah, Squidward did strike me as an NPR kind of guy.
Yeah, you got the short end of the stick on this one, and considering what happened to him.
Yeah, when people insist that they're going to do something to the villain, they just reveal their plan right away, then immediately get captured.
Like, dude, what did you expect? This is how the Bond villains lose.
Plankton learns from Karen that SpongeBob and Patrick are going to find a crown, and he tells her that, I've already hired someone to take care of those two. And then we get Dennis the Hitman, who has one of my favorite character designs of all time, like the black cowboy boot, the sunglasses on the sunglasses, the fingerless glove on the right hand, and the fucking just knife on the necklace. That shit is my jam.
That is a very hardcore assassin design. And correct me if I'm wrong, was this Alec Baldwin's first voice acting role he's ever done for a movie?
I don't think he did. Because I know he did voiceover for Thomas the Tank Engine, like, back in the late 90s, but...
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, an actual character for an animated movie. Because this was before he started playing, appearing in a lot of DreamWorks movies.
Oh, yeah, he was kind of in DreamWorks for a little while, wasn't he?
He was a frickin' lion in Madagascar 2, and then, of course, he was
knockoff.
Infamously the Boss Baby.
Yeah, let's not bring that up.
Santa North, as they call him, in the Rise of the Guardians, really badass Russian Santa.
Yep, previous episode of this podcast.
Oh, sweet.
It was our very first Easter episode, and we had a lot of fun with Alec Baldwin's Santa. But here I would argue he's being the opposite of Santa by hunting SpongeBob and Patrick down.
They walk through this desert, and they've eventually come across this giant submerged tugboat called the Thug Tug, which I absolutely love as both a set design and as a story beat, because part of the reason why is the background music is Motorhead performing You Better Swim, which is a revamped version of their song You Better Run. And it goes harder than the original, and I love it.
I got no reason to be paranoid. What's on the hook? That's what I avoid. I was born underwater without a sound. With my fins in the drink and the sea all around. You better swim. Baby, you better swim.
It's a really great bad guy bar.
Still crazy how they got a metal song into a kids movie.
And it's run by none other than the ultimate bad guy, Hollywood bully himself, Biff Tannen, Tom Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
He's played a lot of similar roles on SpongeBob, notably Reg in the No Weenies episode. He's the one who's like the bouncer for the Salty Spittoon.
See, I know him better because he was Flats the Flounder.
Well, I like to kick people's butts.
Yeah,
I have a
Flats
preference
also.
for the Strangler myself, just for
Oh yeah,
just
the
how off
Tattletale
deep end
Strangler.
he is.
Crazy how many times he was on SpongeBob.
He's typecast, but, he's a nice guy in real life from what I heard.
Yeah, like he even wrote an
Yeah.
entire song where he was just like, stop asking me the questions. Because he was constantly being asked about various things like,
Do you all hang out together? No, we don't. How's Crispin Glubber? I never talked to him. Back to the Future 4. Not happening. Stop asking me the question. Hey.
Funny guy from what I've heard. But anyway, SpongeBob and Patrick are trying very desperately to make it out of this bar alive, but they couldn't resist playing with bubbles.
Bubble party. Hooray!
which leads to the best line of the entire movie.
You all know the rules.
All bubble-blowing babies will be beaten senseless by every able-bodied patron in the bar.
God, like...
This happens often enough that you needed a rule?
Apparently, because, there is someone else there who does know about Goofy Goober.
And it's just these Siamese fish.
These conjoined twins, yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're both voiced by D. Bradley Baker. So, hey, he got typecast playing his clones. Who knew?
Interesting.
That's true. I mean,
So-
didn't he use one of the clone voices, one of the other fish? The one that has the Australian accent? No, I am the cult, I swear!
DJ, turn it up louder! Yeah, part of this movie is just, it is so fucking quotable.
And the animation at this part where he is grilling SpongeBob and Patrick. The amount of disgusting detail so perfectly.
Like, Patrick is freaking melting.
Doggone it, Patrick. Dr. Jones said, don't look. Keep your eyes shut.
I mean, in fairness, is it really normal for Patrick not to listen?
So anyways, they get the key back, and then they're, mocking what they just went through as their coping mechanism. Because SpongeBob's like, come on, Patrick, do it one more time. And then Patrick just does it. And we get our second Odyssey connection, the Siren and the sea monster / Scylla stand-in.
Yeah, the frogfish, I feel like that's another bit of Vince Hillenburg showing off his marine biology degree, because that's a real fish, and it's realistically rendered, just minus the talking ice cream lady tongue.
Not to mention a very effectively creepy scene.
They had a special feature on the DVD where Stephen Hillenburg and Jean-Michel Cousteau actually talked about a lot of the marine life, and frogfish are kind of like these little bipedal anglerfish that roam around coral reefs.
Oh, hey, look at them trying to beat the allegations that this show made kids dumber. Good for them.
Rest in peace, Mr. Hillenburg.
Rest in peace to a goddamn legend.
Rest in peace, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, they are chased by the frogfish because they were lured in with free ice cream. And they're running away from it. The siren is just trying to be like, I'll let you pet Mr. Whiskers. And then this fucking gross cat emerges from the tongue as well. And it's just like, oh my god.
It is kind of refreshing to see a siren depicted not as the sexy lady for once.
Yeah.
But just this sweet grandmotherly figure. I realize it's mostly because this is aimed towards kids, but still.
I also love they're completely surrounded by skulls. They don't notice it. Then as Patrick's waiting in the car, he goes,
Wait a minute! SpongeBob!
Yeah?
Make mine a chocolate!
Got you covered.
Too stupid to live, and yet they did.
Always crazy how they managed that.
But yeah, we lose the paddy wagon in this scene, and it's always just like, no, not the paddy wagon, no.
Yep, they lose it twice. They managed to do that.
I mean, he got it back in Crossworld, so I think it's fine.
It wasn't until I was older that I realized the trench that they have to cross is an XP, if not an exact version of the Marianas Trench, the deepest part of the ocean in the entire world.
Holy shit!
Which is full of creatures that even we haven't even really fully discovered yet. And if you look at some of the monsters there, they are very much inspired by sea creatures you would find there, like anglerfish, like the one that looks like it has a little traffic light head with the road stripes. That's very angler designed. And so are a couple of other creatures that have a very unique look, but do correlate to certain, very rare animals you'd find there.
Don't you mean correlate?
So now, at this point in the hero's journey, we're at the moment of doubt. Like, the moment where they're just really thinking, do we even need to go on with this? Because we're not cut out for this. And I feel like here it's done nicely, because SpongeBob has reasonable doubt. He's like, we'll never survive down there, and we're just kids. Like, that's really great storytelling.
Yeah, the whole theme of this movie that, just because you might be a kid, or you enjoy things that are considered immature or for children, doesn't make you any less capable. That it can be empowering and even helpful at times. Like, I don't know, to skip ahead a bit, when they're confronting Dennis, SpongeBob just trying to run away from him doesn't work, but he brings out the bubbles and that blinds Dennis and lets him escape, using that thing that people consider childish really, helps him out.
Note to self, use bubble fluid in the face of someone trying to kill me.
Yeah, honestly, it's not that far off from pepper spray, and I mean, they're never going to try to legalize soap water. Yeah, I do appreciate that thematic element, because while SpongeBob wasn't my cup of tea of childishness, like, part of the reason I started this podcast is because I grew up on Disney movies and still have a lot of affection for them. If nothing else, I appreciate that they tried to put a good moral message into this.
Yeah, I think it resonates with me, and I think with everyone else here, that we all have things that others might look down upon, but really resonate with us because they've resonated with us through our childhood, and that's, yeah, it's okay to like that stuff, and you can still be an adult. It's a great thing. And at one point, Mindy just says,
"Hey, it doesn't matter if you're kids, and what's so wrong with being a kid anyway? Kids rule."
That was the whole thing with Nickelodeon in the 90s and 2000s. Nice little, but it also kind of encapsulates that. It empowers both the kids watching that and the adults who are just the kids who grew up, as Walt Disney would say.
So, yeah, Mindy shows up, fills them in on what's going on, and she decides to use the power of mermaid magic to turn them into men, which involves plastering seaweed mustaches on them. And I'm just going to say it, those mustaches are iconic as hell.
Yeah, I remember them being all over a lot of the supplemental material for it, and just like, okay, what is going on in this movie?
Yeah, a lot of the trailers and advertising for it, yeah. And again, it kind of plays in that, they feel like to be a man, you have to either give up childish things or put on a performance of what manliness is. In this case, a mustache, because, hey, grown-ups have mustaches. But no, it's more like what's inside you than what's outside you.
Yeah, it's very much a kid's idea of what being a grown-up is.
Hey, you can't prove I got a mustache on underneath this helmet.
And this leads us to, okay, this movie isn't technically a musical, but the soundtrack does slap. Especially this song, Now That We're Men. And it's an amazing song, and it's made even better by the fact that it's based on a stock track from one of the episodes, The Great Snail Race. It's that college fight song that appears when Lightning Larry Luciano just crawls out to fanfare.
The mustaches worked!
Do you know what that means? We are invincible! Now that we're men, we can do anything. Now that we're men, we are invincible. Now that we're men, we'll go to Chelsea. Get the crowd, save the town, and Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, it's a piece of music from the AP Music Library, I believe, which SpongeBob pulls a lot of tracks from. And yeah, here's a funny story. I grew up with a version of Ringing Bess's Rudolph that didn't have them sing We're a Couple of Misfits. They sing a song called Fame and Fortune, and it sounds very similar to Now That We're Men. So when I hear the song, I always think of it. I connect the two.
Speaking of, while I was doing my rewatch, and I heard that song at the beginning of Great Starlight Race, I was like, that song sounds familiar.
Well, there you go. Now you know why.
Look at the crown, save the town, and Mr. Krabs.
But through this song, they navigate through the trench, and after making it through, they meet up with Dennis. And props Alec Baldwin, he really goes all in on the sinister hitman assassin here.
I'd say his poor vocal cords, but, I'm pretty sure my pity wells kind of bottomed out for him.
Oh yeah, because of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You can say an actor gives a good performance, but not praise them any further than that. That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yep, they are now disheartened because they learned the seaweed mustaches are fake. That mermaid magic is not real.
Of course they were fake! This is what a real mustache looks like.
Is he a mermaid?
But yeah, Dennis reveals, Plankton's whole plot just as he's about to step on SpongeBob and Patrick with these killer cleats, literally killer. They shoot out of the spikes shoot out of his soles like knives. But just like Qui-Gon Jinn said, there's always a bigger boot.
And this leads into the third Odyssey reference, the Cyclops.
Who is in fact an old-fashioned deep-sea diver with the helmet and suit and everything, which is brilliant.
And you never see his face because it's always obscured by, I'm assuming, green mist. That's such a good detail.
This character, it seems like they're just setting up that this is just an ordinary person who just happens to collect sea creatures for souvenir purposes, but then they do have him do an evil laugh, and I'm like, okay, so he is doing this maliciously?
Yeah, cartoons for you.
I mean, the fact that SpongeBob and Patrick wake up and realize that all the fish are dead, it's kind of like the equivalent of waking up in a wax museum that's just made entirely out of real corpses. Though I will say this, they're watching him assemble, one of the little knickknacks, and the fucking gag of, he's making a humorous diorama of Alexander Clam Bell! That always kills me every time.
Not gonna lie, I'd kind of want that for my desk.
It's such a good joke.
Oh, I'm sure it exists. I'm sure you could find merch.
And if not, there's always Etsy. Jinx! See, this is how close me and DGil are. We have the same thought process.
Jazz said it was my turn on the brain cell.
I thought it was Jen's turn.
But yeah, and in comes a weirdly morose scene as SpongeBob and Patrick are underneath a sun lamp about to basically dry up and die.
And it's here that I should also probably mention Gregor F. Narhol's score, especially during this moment. It is immensely powerful, and the music plays a huge part in it.
It's incredibly bittersweet because, they've discovered the gift shop they're trapped in is, in fact, the shell city they've been looking for, and they see Neptune's crown right there. And they're essentially dying with at least the small comfort that they did prove them wrong, and they did make it there, even if no one else knows it. And they go out singing the Goofy Goober song.
We did all right for a couple of goofballs. I'm a goofy goober, yeah. You're a goofy goober, yeah. We're all goofy goobers, yeah. Goofy, goofy, goober, goober.
Which, I'm gonna say it, that's how I would want to go. If the world was to end, I would want to be side by side with my friends, screaming, I'm a goofy goober, yeah, in defiance, rage against the dying of the light.
Yeah. And as the music swells, we pull back and we're reminded, oh yeah, there are people watching this movie in the movie. We see the part just crying their eyes out over that. And it's like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I could see a lot of kids who would think that this would be the end of SpongeBob.
Without even the decency of the George of the Jungle movie.
Okay, kids, let's settle down and review the important information. Lyle is a big doofus. Poor George was really shot but can't die because, let's face it, he's the hero.
They're too little to know and are crying just the same. And this is a way to show that, the audience can feel the same way too. And it also takes a step back and makes us laugh a little bit. Just a reminder that, this is just a movie. It's not over yet because, as not Potty the Parrot says, shut up and look at the screen.
The bird's right. Look!
One of the last things they did was, they cry a little tear, which forms the shape of a heart, of course. And that tear goes down into the outlet, which causes it to spark out and turn on the sprinkler system, immediately reviving SpongeBob and Patrick. Yay. And also all the other fish and sea creatures that the Cyclops has dried up and stocked on the shelves over the years, and they get their sweet revenge on him.
Let the ring rumble!
Commence the marine uprising.
They even have like a little mariachi band playing the Mexican hat dance, right?
So yeah, they've successfully beaten Shell City. They're stuck on the beach. Patrick has just proved himself to be a fucking mark by opening the windbag like an idiot.
Well, in his defense, he thought SpongeBob was telling him what to do. He didn't realize he was just reading the instructions.
Yes.
And he wasn't just looking for treasure, Eurylochus.
In complete fairness, though, Patrick ain't exactly the smartest of this franchise.
Is there anyone who's the smartest in this franchise?
Sandy. Definitely is.
Sandy, Squidward to an
Fair
extent,
enough.
but he's very kind of up his own ass, so yeah.
But this leads to, no exaggeration, the greatest Deus Ex Machina in cinematic history, followed closely by the T-Rex showing up in the visitor center in Jurassic Park.
Oh no. How will we ever get back to Bikini Bottom now?
I can take you there.
Who are you?
I'm David Hasselhoff.
Hooray!
David goddamn Hasselhoff!
Deus Ex Huffina!
Zardu Hasselfrau. Hey.
I think this movie was written by Mad Libs.
Most likely.
Well, they were kind of capitalizing on his Baywatch fame, and apparently David Hasselhoff took he agreed to appear because his daughters were really big fans of SpongeBob, and
there you go.
loved doing it, and he says he gets more recognition for it nowadays from kids on the streets than he does any of his other work.
Yeah, that tracks.
And I mean, to be fair,
Even
you'd have to
though-
have someone to bounce off of after doing Jekyll and Hyde.
True.
That's a story for another time.
And even though we get the magnificent Huff streaking across the ocean like he's a speedboat, we also get the return of Dennis.
I always called shenanigans at that, just like, how on earth is that boot moving that quick?
Well, he's a very, very tough guy, so he's very determined to get the job done.
Wow, so you really aren't beating the allegations, are you, DGil?
Stop it.
This whole final confrontation is fantastic. I will say that.
Just the fact that up until he gets stabbed in the butt, Hasselhoff is like, just, yeah, fine, this might as well happen.
I've got one job to do, and I'm gonna do it.
And apparently they built like an entire life-size model of David Hasselhoff's body to film certain scenes. And apparently Hasselhoff kept that after the filming wrapped up. Because I know he listed it as part of an auction when he was like trying to get some money or something. And he listed that as part of the things he was selling off.
My
God. It's a real... I remember even seeing the bonus features, the making of. It's like a big wax figure, and he uses like yak hair for all the hair on his back and everything, and his legs.
Yeah, if you want some like free cursed imagery, just pause it every now and then on the special features just to see that uncanny grin on the massive Hoff's face. Just...
I will do no such thing.
Yeah, probably shouldn't do that, because I really don't want nightmares tonight.
So now the stage is set for the third act, which is essentially, they get at the Bikini Bottom, and they're like, well, we're not going to be able to float down in time. Who said anything about floating? And his muscles part to, like, prepare the cannon to launch them back down. I always quote Patrick's just awestruck reaction as a vocal stem, just, the control.
Yeah, his biceps just distend and push themselves back together to catapult
It's more like
him
his
down.
pecs, but
His pecs.
What is happening?
Jazz, it's just a movie.
And while this is going on, Mindy is doing her best to stall King Neptune in another classic moment.
Nothing else I can do. You can give SpongeBob and Patrick a little more time.
Except give SpongeBob and Patrick a little more time. What? Mindy, will you butt out? I won't have you stalling this execution.
Stalling? I'm not stalling anything.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're doing it right now.
I'm stalling.
Yes.
Stalling?
Stalling.
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 You think I'm stalling?
Well, am I in crazy town? I in the carriage until the execution is done.
Just that whole exchange is gold. They get there just in time. The crown gets shot down. It takes the brunt of King Neptune's laser zap, and it hits poor David Hasselhoff instead. Like, after all the trouble he went through just to help them, with all he gets in return is to get fried.
Once again, no good deed goes unpunished.
Well, at least we didn't get fried crab. Or, in this case, it's ash crab.
Pretty sure that's just one of Agatha's experiments.
God damn it!
But anyway, yeah, he got the crown back, but Plankton can't take his loss gracefully, so he cheated. He cheated.
Plankton cheated.
Fucking cheated.
I don't know, it feels like it was always part of his plan in a way, not just a backup.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Where he's prepared a mega bucket for King Neptune's head and gets it on him, and yeah.
I was thinking, it's just like, okay, so what is King Neptune doing during all of this? Like, isn't Bikini Bottom part of his kingdom? Wouldn't this be of concern to him? Like, I recognize he's a tyrant and very self-involved, but still.
He's too distracted by his bald spot to do anything.
Yeah, according to Mindy, we see him, he's trying all these different ways to cover up his bald spot, and he gets fake hair in his eye.
So you're telling me that there is a bald member of the ruling class that doesn't really care about oppression that's going on and is only distracted by their own looks? I miss when this was unrealistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's the most realistic part of the movie. Goddamn. Okay. Let's move on.
Daddy, no! Daddy, yes!
Not that kind of movie got Rhaps.
That's it. The entire cast of this movie is getting sexual harassment training.
But yeah, now everyone's got SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mindy cornered, and yeah, SpongeBob goes into one of the most epic lead-in to one of the most epic movie moments ever, where he discusses what he's learned, and the music keeps building up.
I've been through a lot in the past 6 days, 5 minutes, 27.5 seconds. And if I've learned anything during that time, it's that you are who you are.
That's right. Okay, Neptune.
And no amount of mermaid magic, or managerial promotion, or some other third thing can make me anything more than what I really am inside. A kid.
That's great. Now get back against the wall.
But that's okay!
What? What's going on?
'Cause I did what everyone said a kid couldn't do. I made it to Shell City, and I beat the Cyclops, and I rode the Hasselhoff, and I brought the crown back!
All right, we get the point.
So yeah, I'm a kid, and I'm also a goofball, and a wingnut, and a knucklehead McSpazatron!
What's going on here?
But most of all, I'm...
Hey, settle down. Take it easy. What the scallop?
I'm a goofy goober!
I'm just gonna be gushing like nonsense about this scene. I love it so much.
That is another movie moment that always gets a fuck yeah out of me, because it's built up to perfectly. Wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah, it's emotional catharsis, and it's a parody of one of the best rock and roll songs of all time.
I'm going out on a limb. I like Goofy Goober Rock better than the original song, I Wanna Rock.
I always get chills, like, during the big guitar solo where, he's just shredding away and then it just cuts like this hyper-realistic shot of the guitar neck, like, lighting up. I always get chills at that.
And the day is saved through the power of rock. His music is so strong that it breaks the bucket helmets off. Everyone is having a great time.
Sure, SpongeBob handshake Orpheus, why not?
Kind of crazy that King Neptune, who was trigger happy this entire movie, didn't even try to execute Plankton once he found out he was the one involved.
Mindy probably rubbed off on him. Better to give him like a fair trial and punishment rather than just be trigger happy.
I mean, the movie out and out says that basically.
Well, Mindy, I have to admit, you were right. Your compassion for these sea creatures proved a most admirable trait. Without it, I would have never again seen my beloved crown. I think you're going to make a fine ruler of the sea one day.
Man, a parent saying that they were wrong? This is a cartoon.
And the last we do see of Plankton is just him flat as a pancake being scraped off the ground and shoved into this truck headed for the institution for the criminally tiny.
But it's becoming increasingly obvious. I can deny it no longer. I am small.
And then Mr. Krabs supposedly gets unfrozen, but King Neptune accidentally forgot to set the trident to unfrozen instead of real boy ending.
Okay, why does he even have that setting?
And then, of course, and then to end the movie, we get the fake out where it's like, oh, SpongeBob, he's not going to accept the thing. And Squidward's just like,
after going on your life-changing journey, you now realize you don't want what you thought you wanted. What you really wanted was inside you all along.
Are you crazy? I was just gonna tell you that your fly is down. Manager, this is the greatest day of my life!
Oh, shit, Batman.
take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand.
That needle drop has been memed to death by this point, but it's still phenomenal. It's still a fun song. I love the cute little photo montage of SpongeBob as the manager.
And the giant hat.
And it just feels like the cherry on top.
And of course the end credits music also features The Best Day Ever, which, yeah, I love that song. I have no shame.
Best day ever. Wilco's just a kid, and the Flaming Lips, SpongeBob and Patrick, confront the wall of psychic energy. Which, yeah, every single song in the credits convinced me that, yeah, I gotta go get the soundtrack for this movie. And I did.
And reader, she did. And dear reader, SpongeBob did an Odyssey.
Put the C in Odyssey.
Indeed. But yeah, this was my first time having really watched it. And again, I do appreciate the overarching message. I just feel that there was an unfortunate disconnect for me because I did not grow up with it. Like, I love hearing how much joy you all had towards this, because clearly you have a lot of emotional attachment to this franchise as a whole. It was really wonderful just kind of sitting back, letting y'all fanboy and girl over it. Did it necessarily encourage me to explore more of this? Maybe not, but that's okay.
Yeah, completely fair on our part. It's
much appreciated for letting us crash the party bus on this one.
When haven't we crashed it?
The insurance on this podcast's party bus, I gotta tell you.
The post-credits scene, I feel like good for the pirates to show respect to the theater worker for politely asking them to leave.
Even if they originally pulled a sword on her.
I've worked at a movie theater for the last 10 years, very on and off, but like that's the least I've ever had.
DGil, that's not normal. Do we need to call somebody? But official stance of an each retelling. Be nice to service workers, and people who are paying them, pay them more.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to hear the words chicken jockey again in my life.
Oh, fuck.
And if I ever had to deal with another grocery cart out of its area, I might lose my mind. Anyway, back to my original tangent. I don't know why, but for some odd reason when I was really young, I just loved the Nickelodeon Movies logo, specifically the one where the two of them had their own separate orbs. I don't know why. It just was something for me when I was younger.
And I kind of dug the Nickelodeon logo at the beginning of this one, actually, where it had sort of like this cosmic imagery and psychedelia, and then like transitioning into aquatic imagery because SpongeBob is just weird but oddly comforting. I don't know how to describe it.
I think the music plays
that sort of kaleidoscope thing. That's, again, a tone setter for what we're about to watch. I like that.
Yeah, I think the music also plays a huge part in that, too.
They Pavlov's dogged you into it because they attached it to something that clearly means a lot to you all.
Hear, hear.
And I guess we could start with, why does SpongeBob endure, since we're on the subject?
When Stephen Hillenburg was creating SpongeBob, he screened a bunch of things for his co-creators, the people working on it, including silent shorts from Chaplin, Keaton, Laurel, and Hardy, to more modern comedians like Pee Wee Herman and Jerry Lewis, all of them considered classics now, and you can see the influence of that in SpongeBob, and especially in the movie too, that perfect storm of slapstick and joyful silliness that carries on through it. And it just reminds us to find joys in the everyday, life that we have, even if it's just flipping burgers to get by, to find comfort in your friends and your passions, and make time for yourself to really enjoy everything and everyone around you. And always be a goofy goober, yeah.
Not to mention, and the craziness, and the, like I said earlier, the memes that come out of this franchise.
Oh, hell yeah. Just when it's great, it is great. Something about it that there's always at least one thing that gets to you and just knows how to make you laugh.
And how it helps other people laugh too. I've heard SpongeBob described as like perfect hangover television, and I kind of get the vibe. I don't drink myself, so I don't know, but I'm too boring to drink. But I do kind of see as a kind of decompression almost. And a part of decompressing is, being able to laugh. And the more you're able to like share around specific episodes that made you laugh, or even just screen cap of an image that made you laugh, of a starfish looking agape at an open trench as their car just got eaten by a giant fish who just got eaten by another giant fish. If everyone could get a laugh out of that, I feel like, they're doing something right.
I think largely it has to do with just, it came out at the right time, I would say, because every company nowadays wants their own SpongeBob. They want their own, like, long-running brand that they can capitalize off, because, Viacom especially has been known to do this. But I think what makes SpongeBob endure, it kind of goes back to something like what Jen was saying. Like, you don't have to give up the things that you enjoy in order to be mature. The entire thesis of the film is, although we may have to grow up and learn how to handle things as adults, we still can maintain the same sense of wonder and optimism that we felt as kids in the things that give us a bit of reprieve from hardships of adult life, like taxes, lawn care, and, the entire process of insurance and litigation. Because maturity doesn't mean we have to become cynical assholes. It means we have to learn to embrace responsibility without losing the parts of ourselves that make life worth living. The joy, imagination, and probably the most important of all, the hope.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree. Like, if a comedy works, it works. It is almost... Like, I was fully expecting this to be kind of a difficult movie to talk about because it's hard to talk about a comedy that does work for people, but hey, you guys proved me wrong. Good job. But it is hard to explain why something is funny to you specifically. And clearly for a lot of people, this is some of the funniest shit they've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just all down to absurdism and abject cartooniness. It's hard to go wrong with that. And it's equally great to see just a cartoon allowed to be.
Not to mention, I think a lot of us could use a laugh right about now.
Well, yeah, going off what DGil said, just it embraces the craziness and cartooniness of its whole premise. And in the case of the movie, though, it's not afraid to take a step back and have that deep emotional center to it, too. With a very relatable question. Can we, still be kids after all this time? And in a way, yeah. We can.
I like to think of, because I know this movie is compared to the Odyssey, and that's the subject of this episode, I feel like there's a distinction here. The Odyssey may be the story of one man's journey to return home, but the SpongeBob movie reminds us that the journey to adulthood isn't about abandoning childhood, but to take its best qualities with us throughout life. Because both stories are about how the greatest journeys involve us discovering the kind of person that we become along the way to the destination.
Yeah, remember every trick in your domain.
Yeah, but this is the easiest 5 stars I'll ever give to a movie. Not just for childhood nostalgia, but because its themes and overall message just resonates with me much more strongly now as an adult than it did when I was still a kid.
You gave us a perfect jumping off point. Why does the Odyssey endure?
Again, going back to that kind of simplicity, in the end of the day, it's one man's long journey to return home and encountering all these strange creatures and people and scenarios and even losing loved ones along the way. One could kind of see it as like a metaphor for the journey of life itself.
Not to mention kind of culturally, as it's sort of the last hurrah of the Greek gods, of just their last chance to really shine before, not necessarily their demise, unless you're playing, God of War, but just sort of their last big moment in the spotlight of a story of such great cultural import. And I'm not exactly sure how compatible it is to SpongeBob, of course, but, it's enough, I suppose.
I mean, this movie shows there is a lot of compatibility between the two, so...
Yeah, I feel kind of bummed that I couldn't, transition it from, SpongeBob movie being sort of a transition from old Nickelodeon to new Nickelodeon, although I guess there is kind of an argument to be made there, broadly speaking.
I personally think it endures because, well, it's a big, long journey. You know, people love to have that kind of thing, especially on like road trips. I know I definitely enjoy a nice traveling in a film.
The way they paint it, you do get in Odysseus' shoes, just that desire for home, for comfort, for family, after everything you go through and what you do to achieve it. It can be a very powerful, resonating thing. And going off what DGil said, to me, the SpongeBob movie does reflect, in a way, the transition from older Nickelodeon to newer Nickelodeon. Because, as we mentioned before, the SpongeBob movie was supposed to be the series finale, and Steven Hillenburg wanted the series to end there before Jump the Shark, but Nickelodeon wouldn't let him. It was just too lucrative at this point, so he decided to step down and let someone else take the reins. And now SpongeBob is still going, and a lot of people could say, it's well past its prime. I wouldn't really know. All I know is it's got, several spin-offs already and many more movies. And we haven't really seen a lot of Nickelodeon nowadays really reach the highs as it did since. Maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's something else. But this definitely feels, in a way, like a farewell. A nice one, but a little bittersweet.
Did anyone else hear that? I think I heard the cash cow.
Jeez. And speaking of the cash cow, who has stuff to plug?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and my Letterboxd. I'm currently working my way to my 250th review, which will be of Toy Story 3. Hopefully that will happen later this year.
You can find me on most social media at Jen Seggio, even though I'm not really on social media for the sake of my mental health. I do have a YouTube channel, the It in FIT, where I mostly post random silly videos off the cuff. And I do have a blog up on the shelf at WordPress, which has been on hiatus, but I do hope to get back to it soon. I mostly talk about movies and anything that catches my fancy, do a lot of movie reviews. And I do have a children's book hopefully coming out by the end of this year called Ava's Chalk by Jeanette Fazari-Jones. I did the illustrations. It's coming from Ever Imagine Press, and I will definitely keep you posted as to when it is finally being published.
I will absolutely grab a copy.
Well, thank you, Rap.
Now, I'll keep an eye out. As for myself, I still have my YouTube channel, Dreammaker Studios, still working on getting some projects done. It's been slow moving, but hopefully we can get something else out the door sometime soon.
And as always, you can follow me on Blue Sky. Just look up DGil and look for a shadowy picture of my helmet looking like a nice album cover, and that is me. I've got Letterboxd and a TikTok, although I don't really post too much anymore. Might dust that off later this year, might not, who knows. I also have my boss on Blue Sky, one Agatha Vile, all hail the glory of crab experiments. And I would absolutely love to plug in the video what we brought up earlier, Il Neges, what we had to watch of the SpongeBob movie, crossing over with Charlie of Theme Snark. Please watch that. It is a wonderful video. And some other third thing.
Wait, did SpongeBob originate the secret third thing meme?
That is a great video. I didn't mention this before, but it's because of that video I finally made the Odyssey connection to the SpongeBob movie. Thanks, Charlie and Alej.
Same here. Which I guess kind of started my hero's journey into letting a little more SpongeBob into my life. And speaking of the hero's journey, our hero's call to action this week is highlighting the organization Sea Corps International. It is a leading conservation organization for the restoration of coral reefs founded in 2015. With sound science as the basis of their work, findings and developed methods are translated by engineers. Its innovative techniques and tools to implement reef restoration at much larger scales than currently possible, which is urgently needed regarding the dire situation of coral reefs worldwide. Steven Hillenburg is sadly no longer with us, but I'm sure he'd appreciate if his creation helped inspire you to protect the marine life that he held so dear. And you can find me at Faye Riviera on all the socials, as well as this podcast at anitretellingpodcast.tumblr.com. And if you have ruined your wallets, please consider donating to our Patreon, our Ko-Fi, or the support the show link below. Through that, you can get bonus content, you can receive episodes early, and you can even join our IER book club, which I plan on revitalizing for the summer. But of course, times is hard. Not everyone can afford that. So please consider spreading the word about us by giving us a rating on the podcatcher of your choice, leaving a comment. And additionally, you get to hear your name in the credits of every episode, such as Juan Garcia, Connor Duffy, I'm Kyle Calgren. Thank you all so much for taking the time to support this show financially, or just spreading the word to those who might be interested. All this is vital to helping us reach the next chapter of our story. And speaking of the next chapter of our story, you can expect some outtake specials for the next couple of weeks as we're taking a little break, but on August 10th, we will be highlighting yet another new release, and surprise, surprise, our monster season is starting early and will be taking up 3 months instead of just October this time. Starting with an author interview with Moira Roche, who is about to release her take on Little Women, Little Monsters. We hope you will join us, and remember, stories gain power in each retelling. On this, Minerva came close up to him and said, "Son of Arcesis, best friend I have in the world, pray to the blue-eyed damsel and to Jove her father, then poise your spear and hurl it." As she spoke, she infused fresh vigor into him, and when he had prayed to her, he poised his spear and hurled it. He hit Euphestes' helmet, and the spear went right through it, for the helmet stayed it not, and his armor rang rattling round him as he fell heavily to the ground. Meantime, Ulysses and his son fell upon the front line of the foe and smote them with their swords and spears. Indeed, they would have killed every one of them and prevented them from ever getting home again. Only Minerva raised her voice aloud and made everyone pause. "Men of Ithaca," she cried, "cease this dreadful war and settle the matter at once without further bloodshed." On this, pale fear seized every one, and they were so frightened that their arms dropped from their hands and fell upon the ground at the sound of the goddess's voice, and they fled back to the city for their lives. But Ulysses gave a great cry, and gathering himself together, swooped down like a soaring eagle. Then the son of Saturn sent a thunderbolt of fire that fell just in front of Minerva, so she said to Ulysses, "Ulysses, noble son of Laertes, stop this warful strife, or Jove will be angry with you." Thus spoke Minerva, and Ulysses obeyed her gladly. The Minerva assumed the form and voice of Mentor, and presently made a covenant of peace between the two contending parties.